So I know that we've got some imbalances. Now I'm going to start my little healing touch right on a tight muscle. So a little circular motion. I'm going to come down to the next one. All of my touches are light. I'm not digging into that fiber. I'm simply giving it a light touch. I think of my fingers as lasers, that they're just sending that energy through and helping to release the muscle. And then I'm going to come down. Everywhere my fingers flick, I stop. Light circular touch. I'm comfortable using, for my healing touch, these 2 fingers. Some people use 3. Some people will use all their fingers. It's really up to you what's more comfortable. Another flick test that some people find more responsive would be to use 3 fingers and put your finger across the pinky. And again, it's involuntary. The fingers just fling apart, right? Some people have better luck with that. Me, I work's all about peace, love, and horses, so I like this. Okay, so I have treated her neck, the places where I found a flick. Now I'm going to go back over, and you can see my finger is no longer flinging apart, right? So my finger is no longer flicking, so I know that I balanced those imbalances. Now, and the muscle feels softer. Now, it didn't require a whole lot of pressure. It's really very light pressure work. I love it, beads. Okay, so I come up here, and that actually feels okay. And I'm just going to palpate her spine, and I can look at it and pretty much tell you that her back feels really good. And I'm putting a good amount of pressure. So if I palpate the spine and there's no pain, then I know that the saddle must fit her pretty darn good. And it's also a testament to the rider that the rider isn't slamming on her back, that there's like a real partnership going on. It feels like you guys are really riding well together. So coming back up, I do feel, and you can see her lumbar is a little raised here, so she does hold a little tension there. So again, my circular touch. Coming down, I'm going to just put a little pressure into her SI joint. And when I'm working with a horse, I always put a hand into her stifle so that if I hit a sore spot, she doesn't involuntarily cow kick me. But again, go team Bob and Phoebe, I've got my fingers all the way in there, and she's looking at me like, is it time for a cookie? So go team, her back feels really, really good and sound. So I'm going to finish, coming back, getting a flick. Now I'm going to take my fingers, and I'm going to do my flick test by putting my fingers cradling the spine, one on either side. And as I drag it over the spine, I will get the flicks. And sometimes the nice thing about the cradling, of which I'll show you here, is that it can show where the saddle pressure is. So I do pick up a little bit here, and then I palpate, and she's not sore. So that's okay. So I'm going to just stop and do a little circular touch. And move on back. Now I'm just going to do a little point work, which is another way to release blocked energy. And that is by just leaving my hands in this position until I feel a tingling. I'll feel a little heat release. And even though it's a little bit breezy, you still feel it. And I just close my eyes and just wait for the release. Okay, now I feel it starting. Now I'm getting tingling. Feel a little difference in her breathing. Now I'm going to come back down, and my fingers aren't flicking at all. Still, I still have a little bit here. So I go back, and I'm going to just use my fingertips, doing my light circular touch, and that got it. And continuing back. So there's a big difference between the horse I worked on last night, Eclipse, who, as I call her very affectionately, a flick-o-matic. She had one imbalance after the other. Now she is privately owned, ridden by one person who adores her and has changed his life to be with her. Right? Completely. So, so now I'm going to check the ribs. And I can tell you right now, the ribs are probably in balance, because if they weren't, her back would be sore. And it would, okay, so I'm going to check. They feel really good. But I'm going to go ahead and do a light pressure between each rib, because it's just a wonderful way to loosen up those ribs. And I will do 3 lines starting about 6 inches from the spine and across. And then I will follow the ribs with my fingertips, coming back and testing for the hips. Her hips are a little out of balance, but that is normal. That is normal. Just everyone who walks on 2 or 4 legs, their hips are always out of balance. There we go, a little bit of a release. A little bit of a check it out. Hey, I feel that. That tingly, that warm, yep. I am so loved. So I can tell you, I've worked on her a long time, and she feels amazing. This is probably the best I've ever felt her, even when she was in regular care with me many years ago. Bob, do you ever on a joint supplement?
Yes.
Boy, I can feel it. What are you using?
Postman.
Yeah. Really nice.
Actually, it's mixed with MSM also.
I knew. I put MSM on my lower back today, and I'm like, I'm good.
Because I got it for myself, so I was like, well, let me get it for her too.
Yeah, it makes a difference. So a horse that's 17, if she wasn't on a joint supplement, when I scan her legs, I'll get a lot of flicks over the joints. I can always tell when a horse has had adequate or is on a good girl, or who is on a good joint supplement.
Like, I'm ready for the other side.
Right? Okay. So, boy, she just feels really good. These used to be hot spots up here when she was a younger horse.
I remember when I first got her, it was like a couple of months after I got her, you said, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
She does give me a run for my money, folks. Just don't.
No,
And she doesn't think she's a horse. She doesn't like other horses.
Don't do that for a minute. Oh, is that when Cheryl's coming?
Yeah, I was gonna wait a second.
She goes, I'm the queen. I do not want that horse near. Did you hear me? Did you all hear me? This is about me. You are my audience.
Right, the big.
Actually, she was always never exposed to other horses next to her for many years. And she now is exposed to another horse. And they tolerate each other. Yeah, so it's justice. And justice is
So she's a little tighter on the right side of her neck, which is not unusual. Are you right-handed, Bob?
Yes.
So for us who are right-handed, our horses are usually a little bit tighter, because when we go to the reins, we're stronger on that right side.
Guilty.
Huh?
Guilty.
So we're at the Patsy, Cindy.
Okay, so let's just come back. Is she okay, Bob?
She's just gonna do that.
I'm just gonna make a nasty face. This is called nasty
It's like,
face.
this
She
is
goes,
my
here,
time.
this is my time. You're
She's
walking
also like,
through
"He's
my
handsome."
people. I'm not appreciating it. Keep walking, keep walking. There you go.
Are you happy now, sweetheart?
She says I am. Now I'm rechecking. I still find a little bit there. Ah, nicely done. Little bump her shoulder. So when you see my hand moving like this, I am flicking and treating at the same time. Today, what you'll be doing is getting the flick, and then maybe showing each other where you get the flick, or where your fingers drag, or where your fingers open up. And then you will flick and then circular touch. Flick and then circular touch. Nice. Nice. Nice, I got that. So while I'm working, I'm constantly going back and rescanning my fingers over their body so that if anything's popped right back out of balance, I can just give it a little loving touch and help it to go back into balance. Our bodies really do want to go into balance. And the nice thing about the energy work, using this very light touch, is that the body is really meant to go in and out of alignment and out of balance. But when your body is in balance, it pops in and out of alignment, and you don't end up needing chiropractors and a lot of extra help because the bones are floating in and out the way they're supposed to. Yeah. Pretty girl, who's a pretty Phoebe? Huh? What's Phoebe? She's so pretty. Yes, you are. Okay, so rescanning, finding that the body is still in balance. And I'm just gonna remind. What's pretty girl? I keep saying I'm not supposed to remind you. All of that and a little bit more. And I have to tell you, this is best case scenario for me to be able to come back and see a horse like Phoebe, who really honestly, from the bottom of my heart, had it not been for Bob, she could have gone a real dark place. And that is just the truth. Because she was hard to handle.
Well,
She's still hard to handle, but you've worked out a relationship.
it's better, yes. It's a relationship. Yes.
Says, as long as everybody knows I'm the queen, we're okay. Okay, so the energetic massage, and I'm going to just run my hands over. Now, it circles down the mane, down the crest, and then hand over hand. And when you're doing this, you will feel what all those little flick marks suggest where there's tight muscles, and you also feel she's just like butter in my hands. Oh, yeah. And then circles over the scapula. And then hand over hand the shoulder. Circles down the spine. And again, if her back was really tight, you would feel all those muscles, but hers really is not tight. And then follow the ribs with the fingertips. Circle. Hand over hand. And again, I'd said those hips were a little out of balance. She is just a tiny bit tight. So what I do is I put my palms on. Now, I have all the energy, the Reiki. My fingers are lasers, the palm of my hands. I'm just sending energy into that hip and into the mid-gluteus muscles. And just putting a little pressure on for a very light stretch. And a lot of times if a horse is really tight, they'll set their weight against me. Like Ben will set his weight against, he just like rubs it right into me. And hand over hand. This is a very different girl, very different. up, circles. And again, I said that this side is the tighter side, so I'm gonna come back over and do circles again. I'm just gonna make them, they're still a light touch, but I'm making them a little bit smaller, just riding the edge of that tight muscle. And then down, yeah, good girl. Yeah. So I just did a little cleanup there with the energy work, more circles. Now I'm gonna go back, circles down, and I got a really nice release out of that. That really, and then hand over hand. Over the scapula, hand over hand, coming down the leg. She's completely different to work with on the wrist. That is the full body shape that I talked about last night. That is a huge energetic release. It's like everything is, the energy's flowing through, and that feels good. Full body shape. Thank you for the demonstration, my beauty. And big circles across the hips. And then coming in and making it a little smaller. Remember, I'm a detective. I am trying to get as much information as possible. And I do remember, even though it's been a long time, that her right hind was also the tighter between the two, and that her cycle was tighter on the right side. We've got a nice little release going on. Love the full body shake. That made me feel good. I feel looser. Over. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just put my palms, just sending the energy through with a little bit of pressure just to lightly stretch that muscle. Hand over hand, and down. Okay, so what I do, the energetic massage, and I don't know if we'll have time for that in this class, but I want you to see it because when you go home to practice, you'll have the forms for it, and you can add that to your treatment. But above my hand is all circles. Everything below is hand over hand. I've made this easy, and you will learn where your horse holds tension. Now I'm coming back up and checking her jaw. Because that feels good. You can do that for a while. It's a little tight on top, which is not worrisome at all. The dentists usually come this time of the year, but her teeth don't feel bad. Does she usually have pretty good teeth?
Yeah, today's got that in the spring. Back on March we did that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not finding anything but that it really feels good. Rub on my jaw, I love it. Oh. And then frivolous scratching, because everybody likes it. Scratch where they can't reach. It's also when I frivolously scratch, it's really good because ticks get up in there. Okay. So now when I run my fingers over here, I'm not getting any flicks. My fingers just glide. I now know where she's holding tension. And somebody's not listening. Take a little bit more of a head flick, more licking and chewing, and that is what it looks like. I love her nose, that pink nose and those little spots. Okay, so for those who were here last night, you could really see the difference between the two horses.
You can
One
come
that's
through.
privately.
You can come through.
You can come through.
Oh, thank you.
Hello. How are you? Another boom, boom, boom. Okay, so Bob, you guys get like a huge A plus and gold stars. I can't believe this is the same mare. She feels wonderful. What I'll do is I will draw you out a chart, and then you can massage. I'll give you all the information. You can massage her, but overall, for her age.
Anything else?
Okay, you want? Oh boy, you want me?
How
Okay.
about like, can you massage me? Huh?
I
Can
know.
you massage me?
Oh, stop, you're embarrassing me, Dad. You know I'm yours. Do what I say.
I would have been a great husband.
And don't embarrass me in public. So now she is begging because she said to Bob, get it now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Phoebe. That was wonderful.
All right.
Wonderful.